your bag and leave my house, useless woman.
Those words sounded like thunder. She picked up her bags and left without turning back. Every step she took echoed in the empty corridor of her once happy home. They used to say in Umuakwata Street that if money coughs, Ngozi, popularly called Azamama, must clear her throat. It was not a joke. It was not exaggeration. It was a reputation that walked before her like a shadow. Nobody really knew when it started. There was no announcement, no ceremony, no warning. But everyone agreed on one thing. Azamama did not spend money. She performed it. If she bought pepper, the whole market would hear. The scales would stop moving. The women would pause mid-argument. Heads would turn. If she paid a bill, she announced it like a village town crier. Her voice always loud enough to travel ahead of the transaction, as if money itself needed witnesses before it could change hands. If she held money, it was never inside a purse, never hidden, never folded quietly. It was spread wide like wings so people could see it fly. Children stared. Women whispered, men nodded with forced respect, and that was how she became Azamama. On Umuakwata Street, her footsteps carried sound, her laughter carried weight, her presence announced prosperity, whether real or borrowed. People said, if Azamama enters your event, your party is complete. They said, if she sits down, money will stand up. They said many things, but nobody asked how long applause could last. Because long before the nickname, long before the reputation, long before the noise, Azamama was not born like this. She was once Ngozi, quiet Ngozi, soft-spoken Ngozi, the wife of engineer Chukwudi, a respected civil engineer whose work site stretched from Enugu to Port Harcourt. Chukwudi was a busy man, blueprints by day, cement dust by evening, dead tired by night. He trusted his wife. Take care of the house, he told her. Manage the money, train the children well. And every month, money landed in her hands like rain on fertile soil. But Azamama did not plant. She sprayed. At first, nobody noticed. Rain can be noisy too. The house was standing. The children were smiling. The engineer kept working. But somewhere between the clapping hands and the watching eyes, something inside Ngozi began to shift quietly, patiently, dangerously. Because applause has a sound, and once a woman hears it for the first time, silence never feels the same again. That was how it all started. Before the name Azamama settled on her like a crown, Ngozi lived a life that did not attract attention. She was known but not noticed, present but not celebrated. She stood behind her husband's shadow and answered when called, never louder than necessary. In Umuakwata, people respected her because she belonged to engineer Chukwudi, not because they knew her story. Then came that afternoon, harmless, ordinary, the kind of day that ruins people without warning. A neighbor's daughter was getting married. Women gathered the way women always gather. Wrappers tied tight, gele sitting high, laughter flowing freely. Music climbed into the air and refused to come down. Eyes were everywhere. When the time came to spray, people dipped hands into purses carefully. 1,000 naira notes appeared. 2,000 followed. Respectable. Expected. Then Ngozi stood up. She did not rush, she did not smile, she did not pretend, she did not bring 1,000 naira, she did not bring 5,000 naira, she brought bundles. The air shifted, conversation snapped, music slowed, confused by what it was seeing. The crowd gasped. A woman dropped her purse. someone shouted, "Hey, see engineer's wife, oh!" That shout did not end in the air. It entered her bloodstream. Her heart beat faster. Her back straightened without permission. Her chin lifted as if pulled by invisible hands. For the first time in her life, people were clapping for her. Not for her husband, not for his projects, not for his name. For her hands, for her money, for her presence. In that moment, Ngozi felt something she had never tasted before. Validation, power, attention. And attention is sweet when you have lived on silence. The money kept falling, the claps kept rising, the shouts followed her movements like drums. She sat down slowly, surrounded by eyes that refused to look away. Her ears rang, not from noise, but from importance. Something inside her shifted permanently. That was the day Ngozi died, not in blood, not in pain, but in applause. And Azamama was born. From that day, silence became uncomfortable. Ordinary spending became useless. Quiet generosity felt invisible. She needed sound. She needed witnesses. She needed people to know. Because once applause enters the bloodstream, it does not leave quietly. From the day applause found its way into her bloodstream, Azamama stopped using words the way other people did. She began to speak with money. If she was happy, she spent. If she was angry, she spent. If she wanted to be seen, she spent more. She bought clothes she wore once, sometimes not even till sunset. Shoes that never touched dust, because dust was for ordinary people. Phones she never finished charging, replaced before the battery could complain. Bags that slept inside boxes, wrapped like secrets meant only for mirrors. Her house became a waiting room for laughter. People came in loud and left early. They ate, they praised, they clapped and they forgot. She fed mouths that never prayed for her, hands that collected and never remembered, faces that smiled only when money appeared. And whenever someone dared to whisper, "Madam, money is going," Azamama laughed, a loud laugh, a confident laugh. "Is it not my husband that is an engineer?" she replied. The money kept coming, so the spending kept growing. Then the first warning came quietly. A small note arrived from the children's school. No drama, no threat, just words neatly written. Outstanding fees. Azamama folded it, not because she planned to pay, but because paper should know its place. That same week, she bought asoebi for 3 different occasions. The next week, she paid for a birthday party that was not her child's. The next, she sprayed money at a naming ceremony of a woman she barely knew. Each event gave her what she craved: eyes, gasps, applause. When the school called again, she hissed. "Children will not die," she said, "but shame is permanent." She chose appearance over responsibility, noise over duty, applause over protection. The children watched quietly. Their questions remained unasked. Their uniforms stayed the same, while her wardrobe multiplied. Azamama did not hear the warning in their silence, because when money becomes your language, responsibility sounds like an insult. And somewhere in the house, folded and forgotten, the school note waited patiently, knowing its voice would soon grow louder. Engineer Chukwudi Okore was not a stingy man. If anything, he believed peace was better than noise. He worked long hours, trusted deeply, and returned home each night believing his house was standing. Whenever he asked, "Is everything okay at home?" Azamama replied without blinking, "Perfect." When he asked school fees, she smiled, paid. He believed her, because trust, once given, rarely checks receipts. Meanwhile, The children were sent home, not once, but twice. They walked through the gates carrying bags heavier than their age. Their classmates whispered. Their confidence shrank, but Azamama's clothes grew bigger. The engineer noticed changes, but not the cause. The house was louder. Visitors came often. Expenses appeared normal, or so he thought. Then the day arrived quietly. No shouting, no thunder, no warning drums. The school sent a final letter, not to the house, not to the mother, directly to the father. Engineer Chukwudi read it at the site. Once, twice, 3 times. The sun burned, machines roared, men waited for instructions. But his mind left the site before his body did. He went home early. He met his wife at the door, counting money. Not for food, not for school, for a party. He did not shout. He did not slap. He did not curse. He asked one question. Where are our children's future receipts? Azamama laughed nervously. You worry too much. That laugh fell into silence. Something inside the engineer cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to never be whole again. Because when trust dies quietly, it leaves the deepest wounds. And that night, something changed forever in that house, even before anyone packed a bag. That night, Engineer Chukwudi did not argue. He did not raise his voice. He did not demand explanations. He packed quietly. Not clothes, not furniture. He packed trust. By morning, the house felt hollow. The walls stood, but something essential had left. There was no applause, no admiration, no audience. Only unpaid bills, unpaid fees, and a name that suddenly felt heavy in the mouth. People stopped calling her Azamama. They returned to calling her Madam. The same women she sprayed ran faster than her shadow. Phones stopped ringing. Laughter found new houses. Azamama sat in silence for the first time in years. And silence did not clap. That was when understanding arrived. Late, but clear. Money is not evil, but using it to buy validation is expensive. She learned that respect borrowed from spending expires quickly. That a home is not built with noise, but with responsibility. That managing a house is not about impressing outsiders, but protecting what is inside. Today, when people pass that house, they whisper, that is where Azamama used to live. Not because she died, but because the version of her that loved applause lost everything that mattered. If you spend your family's future to impress people who don't care about your present, you will end up entertaining strangers while losing your home.